Writing the podcast Being Men as I learn to be a man. Understanding the time, lessons and patience required to be a 10. A series of compass insights of the journey for a different turn. Being men, where rivers of the mind flow to give a damn. A movement with river flows, so I be a bailer I can. All stones are turned, all souls affirmed. Right at the podcast Being Men. All stones are turned, all souls affirmed. Welcome to Being Men.
Hello there and welcome to another one. I trust I find you in good spirits. My name is Tatenda and I'm back with another one. And I always say it helps me and it makes me so excited and so proud and so humbled when legends keep coming back. And Ole is back. The first time that I met Ole, my first impression was, wow, this woman is learned, one. And two, she knows her worth. She's so confident. And the reason why she is back today with a different setup is because she is back to give us more on being a woman, on anything. One thing that I always say with this podcast, even when I recorded with Tine last week, I said there is no script. And Tine even said, because there is no script, it's easier to just jump in and have a conversation. I trust everyone is in good spirits. I trust everyone is good. You are healthy. It's Women's Month. And gents are treating you right. Or that gent is treating you right.
Yes.
Ole is back, and I'm not going to introduce her this time. If you don't know who she is, you're going to go back to the video previously. And Ole. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
You know, I was like, why does he want me back? Like, to say what? I spoke about everything. What does he need? But it's like, okay, you know what? When the Holy Spirit's involved, you go with the flow.
You go with the flow.
And, you know, whatever new topic comes up, we'll... Yeah.
And I'm so glad that this time around we are freely open to speak about our faith.
Yes.
Or speak about religion.
Yes.
Because the first time you came in sport.
Yes.
And in
it was
as much
limiting.
in as much as I wanted to touch on your faith, it was so difficult because it's about sport.
True.
And I always say when gents meet in a room, it's either we're speaking about sport, about women, or about sex. You understand? So
Is that a real thing?
It is.
Really?
It really is.
Okay.
I've been in so many groups with men, so much so that they say, okay, this group is about making sure that we are okay mentally and anyone that has a problem. But the first thing that they speak about, did you see Manchester United won? Oh, okay, so Chiefs lost.
Yeah.
Or this, you understand? Or we went out and these women were like this, you understand? It's just so sad that as gents, we cannot build ourselves and say, you know what, I'm going through this dark hole, or I'm failing to pray, or gents, I don't feel good enough. And
Or-
another brother, yes?
Or business ideas.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
helping each other. And
Like gents,
those
I'm
kind of-
struggling. I'm struggling with
Yeah.
this business. What do I do? You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
But then we are so quick to jump in when it comes to sport. Everyone is there.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say so is when I started the Men podcast, it's matured, available, nurture. And when I started, that was at a time when men were committing suicide. And you hear of a man. There was a guy on Ellen DeGeneres' show, the DJ guy.
Oh, Twitch.
Yes.
My heart.
The way he died was like, no, man, that's not right. As gents.
And him out of all people.
Exactly. The way he was so bubbly.
Yes.
And always
Yes.
that kind of guy. Then to hear that he goes on into a hotel room and just, that's not right. A mate of mine, we played cricket together, did the same thing again. He got home from work and I think him and the wife were fighting. And he decided to sit in the garage. And the wife decided, okay, he got in the garage. She had the garage open and closed. And he hung himself. She found him in the morning. So
The
you
trauma.
can imagine, the trauma one of your child running into the garage only to see dad. Can you imagine that? Or you as a wife running in like, geez, is he going to sleep in the car? Even if he's drunk to get that. So you can imagine the trauma. It's been 5 years now.
And blaming yourself as the woman.
Exactly.
It's like we
fought. You understand?
Yeah.
And you can imagine the trauma of, I saw my dad in that weakest position. Or I saw my husband in that weakest position, and probably I am to blame for that. And I'm just praying that wherever that woman is, that she's finding some sort of help,
Yeah,
whatever.
definitely.
So when I started the Men podcast, it was at a time where I wanted men to come into one room and say, you know what, gents, I'm not okay. Gents, I need counseling. Or gents, I need therapy.
That's good.
Or who can I speak to as a brother? Even though you may not give me a solution,
Yeah.
but at least you are hearing me.
Listen, yeah.
And I always say that I'm not starting this because I've got the master plan or I've done it all or I've won it all or whatever with mental health. I'm struggling with my own demons as well. But to still have a position or a stance that says not on my watch is my brother going to go down. Not on my watch is my brother going to succumb to this mental health or this depression and whatnot. And maybe tonight we're not even speaking about mental health. But whatever that is that we're going to speak about, Ole, let the Holy Spirit speak through us.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we don't do what we do because we can. We do what we do because He's got a master plan. And like you said when you're drinking your tea or you had your water last time, you said, I don't want to pour water on your things. If it happens for me. Maybe there's a bigger plan. I'm gonna get more kit. You understand? So that's all. That's always been my stance.
I like your mindset.
I think it saves us from so much stress. Because if I go out with my car and I bump, oh well, could have been written off, it wasn't. Or even if it's written off, I could be dead, I'm alive. Insurance will pay. If it doesn't, oh, it's fine. I'll work again and save and whatnot and get more. Instead of saying, why did it have to happen to me? I think as human beings, we've gone to a position whereby we don't understand when things happen, they're not happening to us, they're happening for us. That changes the whole entire mindset. Even though, like, let's take, for example, the video that we did, and the audio was crap. I was so stressed, like, how can it be possible that one video, that every other video is okay, every other audio that I've ever recorded is okay. Why did that have to happen? And I'm like, well,
You're still posting. And you're like, you're still doing
Let
it.
it go. Exactly. So, welcome back. Sorry, I
Thank
speak a
you.
milestone. I speak a mile.
You're reminding me of Paul being bitten by the snake and how he shrugged it off, kept moving. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the mindset I'm trying to tap into as well. Hore. Whatever happens, and that might have been in a different context, but at the same time, it happened to him, but he kept it moving and everyone was marveled, like, but how? And so thank you for that. Thank you for that, Jim.
Yeah.
I will carry that with me.
Awesome stuff. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm great.
I'm not saying how are you so that you can just, I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing? No.
Okay.
When someone asks you how are you, I said it to Tine last week as well. How are you? Mzaya means my niece. So I said, how are you, Mzaya? M-Z-A-Y-A.
Okay.
My niece. And she says, I'm good. I'm okay. Like, hey, how are you?
Okay.
A lot of times people ask that question and people respond to that question because, oh, well, we're used to it.
I'm blessed.
Hey, Oli, how you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
favored. God is still
I'm
good.
speaking it in twigs, but it's like, honestly, let's be
How
real.
are you?
I'll tell you, I am great. That is my honest truth. I'm great. Why I'm great is because of just the journey God has taken me through and everything that's transpired. I think, let me break it down to you. So what I'm doing now is that I am having a reflection period. I'm finished with the project that I was doing for like the past 5 weeks, which was an amazing experience. And it came with a lot of reassurance, revelations, confirmations. Now it's like, okay, this is who I am. I know what I have to do in life. And then even with your podcast, there was another podcast before that. There was another podcast before that. You know when your calling gets louder and louder, like it chases you and it tells you, this is what you have to do now, girl. This is who you are. And it's like, I'm here.
Wow.
What you told me in 2017 is coming to fruition. And it's like, yes, let's go. So it's like, oh my gosh, I'm venturing into what God has called me. I'm walking in my prophetic. Every single move to attend the conversations I have, like I see God in everything now. Wow. Everything. And I like to go back to my secret place and it's like, okay, look, God, let's talk. Now show me like everything that happened through the day. So it's like introspection. We go through from morning till like now. And it's like, so what's next? So that's the space I'm in right now. And now that all these 5 weeks have happened, we're going to take time, God and I, to be like, what worked, what didn't work. My weaknesses, Father, my transgressions, where I'm still struggling with this and that. Help me. I think there was a place where I felt so superior and demigod-like. And then I had a downfall. And it was like, oh my gosh. And that was like, I'm still human. Wow. I can never be God. And that's why I rely on him. Wow. That really hit me. So that's what I'm saying. I'm going into that space where I'm writing down and having that conversation with him and saying every area, like we're going through every area of my life, from relationships, from mental health, from spiritually, finances, career, ministry, everything. We're unpacking all of it so that at least I know when it's time to move again, to go into the next phase, I will have a better mindset.
Jip. Anyway, Tine is here and Tine has got a mic. She did not know that she's part of this. Okay. And if she's got any questions to throw at you or anything to add, she's going to be the voice without the face. So Tine, welcome.
Ghost lady.
Ghost lady. Exactly. She's going to be ghosting, yeah. Before we get in, we've got a few set of questions that I did not prepare.
Okay.
I've got nothing to do with the questions. So if they're good, great. If they're bad, it's not on me, yeah. If they're good, that's on me. If they're not good, then it's on them. Easy.
Oh, they also put questions there.
Yeah. So it's a game, right?
Guys.
It's just a game to sort of warm the room. But I always say media personalities, the room is always warm when you guys are around. So
I'm still new at this.
We'll see. So anyway, it's 5 game questions. Then from there we get into the conversation of tonight.
Okay.
And this is just to warm the room up and just make it feel warmly. Awesome. Yes. First question is, it's a game called Never Have I Ever. So never have I ever practiced dance moves in front of a mirror.
And then I take a sip. I know this is BC days. Drinking, we drink.
Okay.
Of course I have.
Wow. How good are you a dancer?
I think I've lost track of it. I haven't done it for years. Because in my studies, we had to do dancing.
I see.
It was a form of movement. So, but I wasn't perfect. But I feel like it's something I want to go back into and perfect. And yeah. So,
Ole the dancer.
So I was forced to.
Wow. Never have I ever faked being sick to get out of school or work. They are listening. Yeah.
I was in hostel. There was sick bay.
Okay.
So I would fake period pains.
Women are. And when women smart, these women are becoming devious and devious by the day. Like,
it's my honest truth.
Honest truth, yeah. Never have I ever fallen asleep in church.
Yo, of course that's happened. Not fallen asleep like, but where it's like what tulamela. Like.
Yeah. I sit in front and it's always every Sunday. Literally looking at the pastor and preaching. Did I just come on?
And I feel so bad.
Yeah. Especially if you're sitting in the front row, that means whoever was preaching, they can see that whatever that they were saying was boring.
You shouldn't do that.
I know. So now what I do is I always have my water next to me, so I keep it in my mouth.
Yes. It's a reminder.
Let's listen. I zoom out a lot, especially if there are certain preachers that when they are preaching, you're like, I've been listening for 5 minutes and I've got a pen and a paper, but I've got nothing to write.
You haven't written.
Yes. And I think it's the teacher in me that when there is a preaching or someone is teaching, there has to be points that I can write down and reference back to. So if I'm not getting that, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I get bored, then I sleep. Never have I ever told a lie to my parents. Are you a liar?
This was recent even. I felt so bad. But this is what I'm telling you. This is one of the check-ins I had to do. Where I was like, was that come out of you? So I'm not naturally a liar. I think, okay.
Naturally a liar.
Look, in my rebellious days, lying to my parents was my thing.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, mom and dad, if you're watching.
Can I just do this? Give me the cable this side so that you don't sit like this. Now a man is gonna say, no, what did you do to my wife? Yeah.
So I think when my character developed and stuff, I became more transparent and open. Like, this is what I'm going to go do. I'm going to, I'm not a good liar. Like, I think you'll pick it up. My face, I can't. And I'll be like, I can't lie. So I think for me, I mean, I'm an open book. I'm transparent. But when it comes to my parents, that was quite a thing.
That was it. The last one, never, ever, ever eaten a box of cookies in one sitting.
Cookies.
Or ice cream, or a whole...
No, ice cream, like a tin. Oh, no,
Yeah.
no. Not that,
You're
no.
not that kind of-
Cookies, I can say maybe in a day, but I don't think so. I'm usually someone who have some, leave. Yeah.
What's your go-to cheat meal?
My
What's
go-to?
your comfort food?
I'm a sweet tooth, anything.
Okay, anything sweet.
Anything sweet and and chips even. Like I can buy, I can feel I'm in that space where I want chips, chocolate, Smarties or jelly tots, whatever sweets.
You go.
Yeah,
You
that's my comfort.
Wow.
And ice cream.
Okay.
Love ice
Who
cream.
says no to ice cream? Like really.
Love ice cream.
Anyway, so those were the icebreaker questions, and
Okay.
we're gonna jump into tonight.
Okay.
What are we speaking about?
You told me faith, mental health, being a woman.
Now she's giving me stuff so that we can go towards what she's prepared.
It's what you told me.
Guess what? I'm changing the whole narrative.
Imagine. What a trap. Hi.
Mpumi Lidwaba. Is it Lidwaba or Lidwaba?
Yes.
Which one?
Ludwaba.
Lidwaba. Yeah. She posted on her stories and she says, what is stopping you from starting? And I listened to that in passing, and I think I'm that kind of person that I see something and I read something and I can already picture a teaching from the Bible and what I'm going to say, when I'm going to say it, how I'm going to interact with my crowd. And she says a lot of women, because it was directed to women, that's why I didn't dwell on it quite a bit, a lot. She says, what is stopping you from starting?
Yeah.
And I still remember with my short clip videos, I once put out a video that said, just do it. And a lot of times we want to have things in a row or ducks in a row. And it's Women's Month right now, and every eye or every attention is on the woman. Yet the very same woman is failing to start. So my first question to you would be, what is it that is stopping you from starting? I don't know what you want to start, but what is it that's stopping you from starting? And the same thing with the viewer that will be watching. You want to start something, but you don't know. And the reason why I'm coming with that exact angle is I was speaking to my brother's wife 2-3 days ago, and she's like, oh, I'm so tired of sitting at home and not doing anything. And I'm like, who said you must work, only go to work or find a job? Why don't you start something? It's like, I've been trying to think of what to do, but then I just keep on hitting a brick wall. So Ole, if someone is listening to you right now and they are procrastinating or they are delaying their start, what advice would you give them as a woman in Women's Month?
Okay, cool. So I'm a firm believer of purpose. I'm a purpose-driven woman. And I love seeing people being activated and getting into their purposes. That's one of my drives. With that being said, I've always had faith, right? To do things, even when it didn't make sense. I think I mentioned to you the whole shadowing.
Yes.
I just show up because for me, I'm putting myself out there hoping something will come out of this. I mean, I've had that sitting at home doing nothing and it's like, this can't be life. Something's got to give. I've had that. There's a time for rest. There's a time for everything, as Ecclesiastes says. There's a time to be quiet. There's a time to, So I think there is a time when it's okay to just do nothing. But there's a time to start moving. You can't camp there. Now, with me, from my personal experience and what has stopped me from pursuing certain things, because I'm a dreamer. Lots of ideas and dreams that get imprinted into me and a vision. And a lot of the reasons that stopped me from moving forward or implementing those ideas was doubt, fear, big things, insecurities, but also lacking in my character not being ready for the assignment or for that big idea. excuses, bring in excuses, a lot of excuses. And also looking at things like, I don't have the equipment. I don't have the resources. I don't have...
Yeah.
And I remember people would always tell me, use what you have. What do you have? Like, use. And I think someone mentioned to me, what's in your hands? Look at what your hands have. And I wanted to start a podcast. And I knew I had to start and do like a podcast. But I was like, no, I don't want to use my phone. I don't want it. I want it to be professional. I always told myself that. And then it was like, when I sat with God, I'm like, what do I have in my hand? It's like pen and paper. I'm like, oh, I'm a writer. So I started a blog instead, where people can go and read things. And that would change a life or two. People would comment and just be like, oh my word. So that was like my starting thing. The thing I lacked was consistency though, because even now it's like I've stopped it. But I'm glad I did, due to character development. I feel like I needed to pause all those things because my character did not match with the vision overall. And that's why I feel like now is the time to start.
What is character development? Because someone is watching this or I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, what character are you developing? Because from what I can see, I can tell that you're confident. I can tell that you know your story. I can tell that you are fully fledged. You understand? And yes, in as much as that's the outside part, but then on the inside you're a different person. Granted, I get that. And when you also say, start with what you've got, a lot of people would think that when we mean start a podcast, you must have good microphones, you must have lighting, you must have this, you must have that. And I still remember when I started, I was recording with my iPhone, so I would plug in, those lapel microphones, because I had those. And fine, I'll place the phone there and just record. But then in as much as the audio was not the greatest, but at least you're starting.
Yes,
and
true.
1-2 episodes in, you're like, okay, maybe I've struck in an extra $300. Let me just go and buy this mic. Or you go onto YouTube and they say, do this, do that.
Yeah.
But the one thing about you saying character development stops you from starting. But then do you realize that by the time that you get to now my character is developed, which is never going to happen, by the way. Your character is never going to be developed because it's a journey.
Yes,
it's not
true,
a destination.
true,
It's not
definitely.
like when I get to that corner, my character will be sorted.
True.
Because the person that you are right now is not going to be the person that you're going to be next year.
True.
So
True.
are we then going to stop doing for 12 months because you're waiting to see Ole the next year? You understand? So when you speak about character development, what is character development in your own words?
Okay.
And how did you come about that character development? How did Ole come to the realization that I need to develop my character?
Yeah. Everything you're saying is so true, because I could have started, even if my character didn't match, wasn't ready, but it was fear. And it was fear to, I don't want to carry the double-minded lifestyle and mindset that I had. And when I mean double-minded, like I was 1 foot in church, 1 foot in the world. And I just didn't want that thing of, I'm on this platform and I'm talking Jesus things, I'm going on spiritual things. Kanti, the night before I was doing A, B, and C, I didn't want that. And I didn't want people to be like, but I'm not going to take her testimony seriously. Because she's saying all of this, but I know what she's doing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that for me was really a burden. And I understand, and that's why I'm like, I understand people who had good intentions for me to start and to just be like, go for it. But I was just like, I'm doing this for my father, and I don't want to taint my father's name. I mean, God, I didn't want to taint my father's name due to me just starting. Hence, I did the blog. Because at least the blog was more safer and vulnerable. And I could have done that even with the podcast. I probably could have and be like, you know what? I'm struggling with living a double life, guys. I could have.
It's content on its own.
Content, no.
And it's going to resonate to someone.
It could have.
Yeah,
but I personally didn't want that because I knew the overall vision of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, no, my mindset just wasn't ready for what God had purposed for me.
Does it mean that you were enjoying the best of both worlds?
I was. Oh no, I was very extreme. I was very extreme. I think I told you I'm bipolar, right?
Yeah,
Bipolar comes with those two extremes, the high and the low.
Yeah.
And that was me spiritually as well. When I was within the world, I was
You
within,
were really in
like
there.
I was the party starter. I was like everyone was
But
like
then at
having
the
a
same
good
time,
time.
that's exactly what the Bible says. It says, don't be lukewarm.
Yes.
It's either you're there or
This-
you're there. I understand. So it's a good thing that you were deep in that and at the same time deep in this. I don't know where's the lukewarm in the two.
I wonder, actually, yeah.
I also wonder how is it that you can be extremes on both ends? I think that takes a special person.
I was so good at that. Yo, I was so good at that.
Wow.
Like, because when I was spiritual and I was a prayerful woman, like I was that. And it would frustrate my mom because she's just like, you can't live like this. Like, you need to decide who you are. You need to choose. And it was like, it's so hard. It was such a hard place for me. It really was.
Do you think it was because of the circle of friends that you had? Did you have to cut certain people from your life?
No, that's a very big thing. Listen, environments and the people in your life can really feed into your mind and like, you know. So I had to be very intentional about that. But I think it's more, I think God is the one who actually orchestrated shifting those things. It wasn't, you know, me deliberately pushing people out. It was just, it would happen
It just
naturally and
happened.
organically, yeah.
Because it hurts as well to push people away
It
that
does.
you've lived with
Yeah.
or you shared memories with. In as much as, yes, you are taking this journey, to then say to someone, please don't talk to me ever again. That's really tough.
No, yeah, no. That didn't happen. But yeah, character development, look, like you say, it's a journey. I'm definitely not where I want to be or the woman that I fully envision. But I can definitely say I'm not what I was. And thank God for that. But character development is taking time to set aside time and reevaluate yourself and say, but where am I a problem? Where am I lacking? Where am I affecting the people around me? And including my progression, like me progressing in life. Because we can be our worst enemies. Yeah. We can be the ones who's stealing from our own futures and destinies. Yeah. We can be the ones delaying. And it's due to a lack of something in your character, something you haven't worked on within you, whether it's internally, externally, whatever it is.
How did Ole come to that realization of, because, you know, it takes a bigger person to know that I may be the problem.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we want to point fingers. No, they did this. They are saying this. They. Nine times out of 10, no one will ever say, no, I think it was because of how I treated them or how I spoke to them.
Toxic.
Whatever. Yeah, I was toxic. How did you get to that realization on your own, or did you have someone that made you realize your own mistakes? Because a lot of times one can come and say, you know what, Tatenda, I think you are the problem. They're like, no, you're talking nonsense. Get away from me. And the reason why I say that is, a few weeks ago, one of my coaches came through and he was so angry. And he says, no, Tess, I can't do this anymore. You know that boy that I used to coach, I bought him a cricket bat. And now they're telling me they don't want to pay me because I am owing them lessons and this and that. And I told them that I'm going to cancel them from the whole of Gauteng. They'll never play any matches and this and this. So I'm like, do you owe them sessions, yes or no? No, that's not the point. I said I'm going to make up those lessons. And I'm like, answer my question. Do you owe them, yes or no? 1, 2, you're a service provider. Did you provide the service? No, but you know that I'm going through a tough time. Like now.
That you're not answering the question.
You're not answering the question.
Yeah.
And when he said, yes, I said, I do. And I'm like, there you have it.
Yeah.
Go and provide the service. Then you come back and complain.
Yes.
Then you got angry. So it made me realize that a lot of people don't understand on their own that they can be toxic to their own future. And like you're saying, stealing from your own self. Did you find that from somebody that made you aware of the toxic traits that you had? I believe everyone has got toxic traits.
No, all of us. Just to add on what you're saying, it's easy to point at people, but what's facing, you know, that's
yeah. Say 3 or 4 are coming. Yeah.
I think for me, I was very aware of my shortcomings, my flaws, and downfalls. I definitely knew internally, in the back of my mind, but I kept doing, like, you know, you keep doing, but it's like I could feel that sting, and I guess it's just having that heart of God and knowing what the Bible, when you read the Bible, it's a mirror. It's telling you, are you okay in your journey? So it was always that, like, oh my gosh, I'm not, that conviction is the word. I'm not living the way I should. So I always had that, but it had to take other voices to remind me. Like my mom was big on always just being like, no, man, no, you can't keep doing this. And she'd say, if you continue like this, then A, B, and C will happen in your life. Like she'd paint out scenarios because she's a social worker, and she just have to like lay down these things. And it's like, they smash you at that time, but she's right.
Deep down,
she's
that,
right.
Yeah,
I'm not just. And then even with your friendships and just people around you, and you see that outburst or whatever that you had, and you realized how that was so detrimental and how it could have ended, how badly things could have ended. But luckily they were more loving and whatever.
Yeah.
I could have lost a job, guys. Yeah. Or I don't know where it could have gone, but it could have been a disciplinary hearing or whatever due to my behavior at work at the time. There's something I did.
Yeah.
And I could have easily been reported because of that. Wow. So those are wake-up calls, and you're like, I can't continue like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think for me, circumstances had to get loud. To be
wow. So you never had some sort of a mentor?
No, and I'd love that. If you want to be my mentor.
I always say as well that, I think I've got 3 or 4 boys that have come to me and said, Tats, can you please be our mentor? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I can. But I also need that.
Yes.
I really need someone that's going to say, we are Baiza.
Yeah.
Like, this is not the way to go about it. Do this, do that. And it's really tough to live this life because you can never have all the answers.
Yeah.
In as much as, yes, we pray to God, but then at the same time, you still need a human being that's going to say, this is the way to go. Yeah. That is the way to go. So, yeah.
Luckily, I have my pastor for that. I have a personal pastor. I could call her my spiritual mentor. I take everything to her. Some things like we'll unpack and be like, I don't agree with you on this one. And I'll be like, but I feel like this. But, at the end of the day, I still take it to God. So I have that. What a mentor I'd love to have is more the career, finances, just life, I think. But I have someone in mind. But, you have that fear of like,
what if
they don't want, or what if it's like, how much are you going to pay me? Like I have those, and I don't know if it's a thing. Yeah. Or it's like someone who's really well known and quite busy. What if it is a thing where it's like, no, I don't have time for you.
With me, like you're saying, I always have time for people, but I don't want to be a burden to other people. I don't want someone to come to me and say, I don't want someone to feel like I always have problems and I'm going to go to them. At the same time, when someone asks me for my help, I'm always available. I will do everything in my power to make sure that I'm available for them. Because I feel it's easier for me to give than it is to receive.
Yeah.
I don't know, is it
it's me.
Is it something that you struggle with that you can't, we always want to give, but receiving feels like,
no.
Really? Are you that kind of person?
I'm the same. I especially asking for like money, like finances are tight. That's one. But I think, look, sometimes you have to be honest, and I think that's what God has really worked on me with, to just be like, sometimes just ask, but you know who to ask. You know who you can trust and who won't feel like you're a burden or whatever. And I'm always big on like, I'll pay you back. That's how I feel. And some people will just be like, no, it's just take. And it's like, wow. Yes, and you feel so blessed in that moment. But I used to really struggle with that. I think I've gotten better. But in terms of other things of reaching out, I saw the importance of actually, because of my mental health and things I'd go through, I reach out. Like if I know I can't do this, I need someone to talk to. I need to cry. Call a friend and just cry. Oh, guys, I'm a mess right now. That's me.
It's so important to have a circle of friends, but then what does one do when they don't have that circle of friends? What then?
Okay, shame. And I have to be... I'm so sorry.
Not everyone can have friends. I'm still so close to my mates from high school, years later. But then someone else left high school and they were never friendly. Not friendly per se, but it's not in their personality to seek friendships. What then? What do they do?
I really don't want to sound over spiritual, but I'm talking about moments of loneliness. You literally have to picture God like a present friend. I literally had to see it like that. Like when I can't reach out to anyone or talk to anyone. And I told you about journaling.
Yes.
It's really a release. You can vent. You can be yourself. If you're someone who wants to cuss, then do it. Like God will be like, okay, I'll take it.
I won't take it, but I'll take it.
But it's like, yeah. So sometimes it's like, you know what, you're being a true self, and then eventually you come to yourself and you're like, yo. But it's such a release. So I'm really big on that journaling and stuff. Therapy. Look, I know not everyone can afford it, and
It's expensive.
it is, no. And I see there are people who want to start platforms where they can actually really open up doors for people to be able to get that. Healthcare shouldn't be expensive, guys.
Exactly.
Hi, not health.
I think healthcare should be a basic,
a basic need.
Well, it is, yes, but
But
medical aid is expensive.
No.
Every person. I broke my ankle earlier in the year, and my physio bill was 750 for 45 minutes.
Imagine.
Do you know how I had to recover very fast? Like, no, I can't do this anymore. In as much as, yes, I'm still in pain, but no, I can't keep on fucking almost $1,000 every time I go to see her. So, yeah, healthcare is something else.
Yeah.
It's something else. It's Women's Month, and women has got this notion of, I am strong. Are you strong? I'm Mbokodo. Kilitaba.
Both sides. No, there's both sides. We're sensitive beings by nature. We're sensitive to a lot of things. So we're more nurturing, we're more aware. I think men are logical. Like you guys are just, things must be done. Whereas we take time to try and assess things, but we are emotional. But I think in being emotional and vulnerable and stuff, that brings strength. I think it really does. If you can go into your private place, your quiet place, or to whoever is close to you, and you can be that vulnerable, you strengthen yourself again. And you're saying, okay, let me take my role as a mom. But women really are. I mean, single moms, let's go there. Such a hard job. I'm a single mom. And the father role, I'm like, I don't even know what to do.
I think being a single parent is really tough. And something happened, and we had to cut off. So we'd say that was the cut off and then ad break. But I just thank God that we're still back here. And Ole, I was still saying, there was a time that my wife was not around. And it was me and my son. And we're speaking about being a single parent. And that's when I realized that, geez, I thought I was killing this parenting thing. I suck at it. Yet there is a woman that does it every day, 24/7, 365. Because I remember I was starting work at 7. So it meant, and it was still in winter. So it meant that we had to wake up probably at 6 o'clock. I had to wake up at 5 to make sure that he's got his breakfast, to sort him out, sort myself, then we leave. So I decided to leave him sleeping.
Yeah.
Because I had a gap from 9 to 9:30, I think. So I quickly drove back home, passed by the KFC, bought breakfast, rushed back, dropped it off with him. And I'm like, Bud, do you want to come with me, or you're going to say, like, no, I'm good. So I just left him with so much food and came back later. But it just made me realize that a woman does this on a single basis, on a single day basis. And we always look at that woman as, we're going to tarnish her because she had a child before she was pregnant, she was married. Or why did she have a child if she was not ready for it? And I know that you are an advocate for that as well with your journey or with your bio. How is it that we can get society to then understand that for a woman to do all that, and for us to advocate and say a woman is strong, a woman mustn't be strong. If we say a woman is weak, then it's going to make everyone look at a woman as who she was called to be. Because according to the Bible, the woman came out of Adam's rib.
Yes.
That meant that Adam was there to protect, to provide, to do everything. And now society is making it a norm that a woman can raise kids on her own. And she is strong. There's 50-50. I feel like you women you're cutting yourself, you're shooting yourselves in the foot, don't you think?
I think I'll say we're forced to be strong.
Yeah.
Even when we don't want to or have the energy to be that. And I mean, I'll take it from my situation, I'm so blessed to have my parents help me. If I was alone,
We're tough.
and I think for me, like my mental health comes into play, and the kind of career that I'm chasing, it's not like one where I make thousands of rands, or no, mine is a hustling job. It's
The more you hustle, the more you make. Basically.
so it's like I'm trying, but it takes late nights, it takes all those things, and then my son is just with my parents, but I can't be there like I want to be, and that's why I want him to actually live with his dad. Like that's a conversation I'm having, because I'm like, I think it's time for me to start pursuing my career now, because there's been so many things that I've been stopped from doing because it's like, but you have a son, but you have. I wanted to there was a job opportunity in Durban where it's like I wanted to apply. My mom's like, no.
You can't.
And it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and those
that's
things,
fine.
it's like, all those years, all those, but you have to be strong, even when you don't want to or have the strength, but you have to. So I think for us women, we have no choice. We don't have it. If you're put in a situation that you're in, you have no choice. If you have a husband who's doing whatever, or I'm not going to go too much in depth, you have to be strong for the sake of the kids or whatever it is. But I agree with you. We shouldn't have to be. And I think our strength needs to be a thing of where we put our foot down and where we also want to dictate how things should be done. You know what I mean? But women are strong, because I'm so blessed to be surrounded by the women that I'm surrounded by right now, in terms of like the business home style that I'm in, and just.
I like that. Don't lose that train of thought. A business home style.
Yeah, for women.
Wow.
So seeing that they can fulfill all the roles and still pursue their careers, they can still be moms and wives, submit to their husbands and still be a boss lady. Where you're starting your own thing. Like that for me was like so much confirmation of I can do it. I can still be a woman who's an entrepreneur, who's killing it in her industry.
Yes.
and
What's
still
your,
be
what's your
alive.
definition of an independent woman? The reason why I say so is I picked it up last episode as well, and I say there is a lady that posted on TikTok, Facebook, was one of the two, and she says there's nothing independent if you're still pouring your own fuel, if you're still buying your own groceries, if you're still paying your own rent and all
Oh wow, I never thought of it like that.
And people bashed it. Literally,
Yeah.
like, no, I'm working for my money, so I'm
Yeah.
independent. It made me realize that our perception for independence may be different.
Yes.
What's your definition for independence? When we say she's an independent woman, that's why she doesn't take crap. She's an independent woman, that's why she doesn't submit. She's an independent woman because she provides for herself and for her family. Therefore, she's the head. What's your...
I think there's different dynamics to that. Wow, thanks for actually bringing that up. I think it's something I'll have to go dissect, because I used to consider myself independent woman. I was never the girl who was attracted to the moneyed guys, or never. Like, I liked doing things by myself. That gave me so much pride in like knowing that there's no man who can dictate or who can, like, I felt...
Is that the right mindset?
I don't think so. I think that had to be broken down. Look, there's pros and cons to it. In terms of like, now, if you're going to want men to do things for you, you're going to depend on them to do things for you. And men can have a form of control over you. Especially I was young, remember? This is me like being younger.
Yeah.
They then want a form of control and stuff like that. And that can come in many ways. Whereas for me, it was just knowing that I'm not going to depend on a man like that. Marriage, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm talking now dating days,
Yes,
all of
yes.
that stuff. But now when it's marriage, the submission thing, I'm for it.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
I believe I will be part of bringing the bacon at home, for sure, because I'm business minded and all of that, But I think the beautiful thing is I still want my husband to lead. I still want him to be the sole provider. I have those values. I really do. At first it was different. I used to be like, I don't mind if I'm the one.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
people have brought me back to earth and be like, that's not your role. And it could get frustrating at some point because you feel, and then you can even oppress him. Like you can make him feel so small. Like, yeah, but I'm the one who's doing this for the family. What are you?
I'm bringing 1,000, you bring 100.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's I don't know if I'll say the independent woman or the feminist mindset, because there's also the feminism where the feminists think that they
can do it
equal,
all.
yeah.
They're
And
equal. Can a woman and a man ever be equal? Or
No.
this whole 50-50 notion?
no.
It's amazing how I've sat down with two women and all of them are saying 50-50 will never work.
No.
Because that's not the dynamic of it. That's why a woman ends up getting frustrated if she's the one that is providing.
Yeah.
But a man will never get frustrated for providing. Tell me one man that's going to say, I'm so tired of paying rent every month and paying bills and buying groceries and all that. Why? Because it's a man's job to provide.
But they probably feel like that. I don't know.
But you never complain because you know it's your job. It's just like saying, you know what, I'm the best dad because I'm there for my son.
Yeah.
You have to be there for your child.
True.
Do you need someone to clap hands for you for being a present father? You have to be a present father. So the reason why a lot of men don't complain is because we are designed to be providers. And women complain because you are not designed to be provided.
Yeah.
You are designed to be provided for.
You're so right. I think we need to really... I think what society needs right now is for the role of man and woman to be re-established again. I really feel we've lost sight of that. Hence, we have the chaotic things that we have. We have now feminine men. Yeah. We have now these masculine women, and everyone's fighting with one another. And if you go on social media, it's like everyone's just pointing fingers at one another. It's because people have lost sight of their roles in society. And I'm now in a position of like a spiritual role thing, and having conversations with people. The thing that always comes up is you can't be the one leading the home spiritually. Like you as the mother or woman, no, it needs to be the man as the head, because he's directly comes after God, and he needs to hear from God and get the instructions.
I wish
from
so
God.
many single ladies would get this and actually understand, because a lot of single women think that just because I'm bringing in the bacon, then I can say whatever I want to say. I can go wherever I want to go, because you're not going to tell me. And I was listening to Utando Tabete, and she says, would you date a broke man? Would you?
So
without running away from the notion that a woman that wants that is a gold digger. And I want Sinead to jump in on it. She's taking the mic. Okay. Would you date a broke guy?
Okay, so for me, like I told you, I never chased the moneyed guys, and funny enough, they wouldn't approach me. So I'd always go for the less money. I don't want to say broke, but ones who weren't.
Yeah.
What attracts me to a man? Do you have a vision? And are you working towards at least coming out of that situation? You know what I mean? But if I can see you, there's no vision here. You're okay with me being the one who's spending and doing all these things. And I used to settle for those things. I really did.
Yeah.
And I had to wake up to be like, Ole, you do actually need to be treated like a woman.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with, I see you building. I see where you're going. I see your vision. And in this season, let's help each other. I don't mind that at all.
And then society then paints that woman as a gold digger, because she's saying, you're saying you don't mind, or you never attracted the rich guys. But then at the same time, if a woman then says, I'm not going to date a guy that doesn't have a car, it doesn't make her a gold digger. Why does society make that woman feel like she's a gold digger just because she's got principles?
I think it's everyone's preference and principles. I personally am not 100% for that one. I'm not. That's because that's my personal thing of, but why are you looking at a man based on that? What if his character is just bad? What if he's a really bad person?
Because a man is supposed to provide. So
I
want
get
to
it.
be provided for. Tine, I want to be provided for.
No, I get it.
It's a bad thing for a woman to want to be provided for.
Not at all.
You are designed for that.
But don't chase the money. If you are saying I want a man because of money, I can't agree with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's where you get lost in the whole process, because what happens when the money is not there anymore? Like, what do you do if the money is not there anymore? Do you hop on to the next? That one could be the one that defines a gold digger, hopping from one man to another just because you are in it for the money.
No, but the thing is, we are saying a woman is meant to be provided.
No, for sure.
Yes.
And if I want to, let's suppose I'm a woman and I want a lavish lifestyle. A lavish lifestyle is not going to come from a man that is bringing home 1,000 rand. I want to go and buy the LV bag. I want to go to Sandton City and do my groceries.
But what are you doing? What are you doing as a woman? Because I think you also
did
need
not
to
have to do anything. Eve was just out of Adam's rib, and that fact alone, Eve needed to be provided for. So as a man, just because a woman is saying, I want 1, 2, and 3, those are my principles, it does not make her a gold digger, does it?
It doesn't. Another thing is, I think most men that come up with the saying that women are gold diggers, it's men that are aiming for women that are not of their level. You
Doesn't
have
make
to
a
go.
gold digger,
You
yes.
have to be on the same level. And as women, we must not lower our standards just to entertain another man, because that same man that you are entertaining is not going to be able to meet up with your needs and your requirements. Therefore, you find them hopping from one man to another, trying to find that craving that they are craving for, the fulfillment of being able to be spoiled. Here's the black card, go buy yourself this and that.
Yeah.
And not all men can provide to that level, but the ones that have worked hard, like you had said, some men, they don't mind spoiling their women. And then there are
Every man that loves their woman doesn't mind spoiling.
spending on them.
Spending on them, sorry. Yes.
Lodging them.
Yes, yeah. Let's go to Dubai, let's go shopping.
Which is fine, guys, and that's what I'm saying. Each for their own, whatever that saying is. Like your preference, your principles, your person. Find your person. If you want to be that woman who's housewives, that's a whole different chat.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be a housewife, then that makes sense. But like I told you in the beginning of our conversation, I'm purpose driven. I believe in what are you doing on this earth besides just sitting and now enjoying someone else's money.
If you were to date someone, to both of you, if we were to date someone that would tell you, once we get married, your career goes packing.
Not me.
What would you do?
I'm very big on that. I know I can't be with such a man. In fact, my ex was very like, he was quite, I won't say traditional. Yeah, he's traditional man actually, from Zim as well.
Okay.
In the village.
Wow. Okay.
And he had that mindset of, I want my woman to cook for me when I come home at 7:00, and I'm like, Baba, that's not me. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, look, I'm gonna be a submissive wife for sure, but I'm so career driven and I know what I have to do in life, what my purpose is, and it's gonna require late nights. It's gonna require me doing all these things. So I'm one to have a nanny. I'm one to have someone who can. I'll still be my home manager because I'll be like, so you know, get la lata today. Those things I had to be like, that's me. So it's like, Papa, don't marry me if if that's the kind of woman you want. Yes. Wow. And that's what I said to him. I'm like, if you need to go for a woman from the village who'll do all of those, please do.
Go
yes. I think we need to be honest with ourselves, guys. You see how you're saying the same women who have principles of, I want a man with money.
Yeah.
Then that's what they want. Learn the same thing. Don't expect
That's your
me.
principle.
Don't. If you want me to be a housewife, we're gonna have those chats before marriage, so you know.
Yeah.
This is not gonna work.
Jeanette, would you?
No, I wouldn't. It's a case of allow me to be me while you are also being you at the same time, because I don't want to lose myself in the whole thing. I feel that if you are to be now packing away your dreams or putting them to the side and focusing on motherhood and being just the wife, what about you? What makes you happy? Then you've somehow lost yourself and you are settling. And are you truly happy?
And look, there are women who just want that. That's what I'm saying. Like, there are women who are like, I just want to be a mom.
Yeah.
And take care of my home and my husband. And that for me
So
is
it's
like,
a preference thing.
yeah, it really is.
But then why is it you never find two ends that think the same? A woman that's saying, I don't want to do anything, and a man that is saying, I want you to stay at home. You always find a man that's going to say, I want you to stay at home, the woman that's purpose driven or career driven. The two can never meet, or it's sort of like opposites are always attracting.
So I say if that's the case, if the man is so moneyed, like he's yo,
Like
like,
I'm so like
listen, you're good. You'll have your dream car. You'll have.
anything, yeah.
And then if the woman still feels like, but I want to contribute to society, I always say, let her get into philanthropy, you know, and charitable works and stuff like that. Like, do something for the community, at least.
Yes,
So you at least have a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? That money that he has or whatever, you can use it for something, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
No, it makes sense now when you say you have a sense of purpose. Because it's not only about bringing money on the table, but it's also saying, I took care of that child that
Giving
is not going
back.
to school.
Yes.
I did that
Yes.
or built that,
Yes.
that. It makes sense if you put it that
Yes.
way. Because a lot of times we think that if we say she must sit at home, it means that she just sits, wait for me to come back home, cook for me, do everything for me.
yeah.
I don't think that's the case. What advice would you give to the girl that is so principled? Because we are living in a society, especially Christian kids, where it's not cool to be a virgin. It's not cool to say you're going to lose your virginity in the marriage, or it's not cool to have one boyfriend. It's not cool to not engage in sex when you're dating somebody. And a lot of girls end up falling for the trap because they want to fit in, or because a lady and whoever are doing it, and they're looking at me as, no man, I'm not the one. What advice would you ladies give, especially in Women's Month as well, where a woman needs to understand who they are, whose they are, and what drives them forward?
Yeah.
And they're gonna end up falling for the trap of what social media says,
Yeah.
fashion trends, and you name it.
You know, Tatenda, those are one of my passionate points in life where I'm like, I want to speak to young girls so that I can save them from what I went through. And I'm like, but I just don't know how, what strategy, because of everything you're mentioning. We are controlled by a life of social media and peer pressure, all of those things. And now, if you sing in America, let me just say Western culture, they really like putting it in our kids' faces to learn about all these things and from a young age, saying, teaching on sex before marriage, like it's okay. Like the godly principles are being taken out of the school system, which is really sad. But for me, there's different reasons why I think girls engage in such. And I'll tell you my personal reason as to why I gave up my purity. It was to keep a guy. Literally, it was just because I wanted him to love me.
Imagine you want to keep a guy that you end up not even keeping. You understand?
Do you know how I realized I realized my brokenness came from that. I had to heal from that. Many years. It's only like, I don't know, it took so many years for me to realize, I'm still broken from that situation. I didn't heal from that. I didn't allow God to touch that place. But in realizing that, then I knew I needed to heal from that. Because then it became a pattern of, I just want someone to accept me and to love me. And by that, you're getting into the sack with someone who you can see is just he doesn't love you, doesn't cherish you, doesn't value you, doesn't see the good in you. So that's why I'm like, for me, I really want to be able to have that voice for young women to be like, it's not worth it, guys. Like, it's not worth it. And I believe having that connection with someone that you're going to spend the rest of your life with is so beautiful. I can imagine just that wholeness and that safety, it's that security of knowing that this person loves me and what we're giving off with one another, you know. So I want one of the things that I know I'm going to pursue is that reassurance of telling young girls their self-worth, their value in them, and to have self-love, you know, because boys at that young age, what I've been told, but also from what I've seen, is that they are chasing. The hormones are what controls them, and you know,
which is true.
Which is true. Yeah, you're a man. I guess
like I always say that, how do you expect a boy that can't even afford their own underwear to give you a future? Simple. I just put it simple.
That's so good. I'm gonna steal that.
I'm always the one to be told that I'm too harsh.
No,
but I'm like, fine, you're falling for him and you're falling pregnant for him. He can't even afford his own underwear.
That's so true.
How is he gonna afford you? Because there is more to life than just saying, oh no, I'm a man, I've got the tattoos, I've got this, I'm a man. What does it really entail to be a man? And a lot of times as women, because a woman is an emotional being, you fall for the stuff that you hear more than the stuff that you see.
True. Yes.
A
And
mate
men
of
can
mine
lie.
posted on his status, and he said, "The thing is with you women, you can see where there's no future.
Yeah.
You can literally like
Yeah. You're seeing clouds.
But no, maybe it's gonna change.
Yeah. Yeah.
That maybe is going to change is what is making all the women fall into the same trap. Just because he sat down with you and said, "Babe, you're my love. I love you so much. Your mama wengani, you understand?" And you think, "Oh, he loves me so much. Yes, he beats me because he loves me." No. If he forever as lay a hand on you as your boyfriend, do you really think he's going to stop when he's your husband?
Yeah. No, for
At
sure.
what point is he gonna change?
True.
At what point is he gonna have a light bulb moment that says, "I need to treat her with respect. I need to treat her because she also has a future."
Yeah.
And if we then rush into doing this, what good is it gonna bring? Like you
Yeah.
said, it's not worth it. It really isn't worth it.
And if he really wants you, he'll wait.
You will.
I think
If you're
if
important.
you really are.
Yes, if you're really that
Yeah.
important, like he
Yeah.
says,
It's
then
so
you'll
true.
wait. What's your advice you give to that girl? Sorry. Yes.
You had shut me up.
I shut you up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I've got a daughter, right? And I'm constantly telling her that she needs to focus and love herself first so that she is at her fullest. Just like what you jumped in and said with regards to how can you love a boy or expect a boy who is
Kind of for his own
yes, his own underwear.
Yeah.
Boys are selfish. They're selfish. Let me just put it that way. That's what I tell my daughter. I'm like, they're selfish. They're going to tell you sweet nothings.
Yeah.
They're going to convince you to take off your panty and then they sleep with
Yeah.
you and you fall pregnant and they're gone.
Yeah.
You get to carry that responsibility with you, not only through pregnancy, if sometimes throughout the whole life, because he has disappeared,
Yeah.
he is gone, he's nowhere to be found. So it falls all on you. So you need to now think for yourself, is this worth it? Is this worth it, me having to do all these things? So also be selfish on yourself and focus on yourself and love yourself more.
Yeah.
Titinda, I'm going to switch now and ask you a question.
I love it. You see, I love where the conversation is going. Yeah.
As men, now that she was mentioning they're selfish, they run away. Why? Like, what's the mindset of a man to be like that? To just say, no. I'm not going to put myself in this situation and I'm going to plant many babies, but I'm not going to father them.
Responsible.
Like, yeah, like, what? Obviously, I'm not saying, you're not that man, so I don't know if you can relate.
It's stupidity, one. And two, that boy was always like that. Before you took off your panties. He was always that man that's never going to take responsibility. Because you can hear a person by what they say when they are relaxed. That's exactly when you're supposed to be listening to a man when they are relaxed. Or listen to a boy when they are relaxed. When all guards are down, what is it that they are saying? When all guards are up and you are there in the room and he wants to bang, obviously he has to say the right things. That's why a lot of times you hear the day that the girl says she's pregnant, the boy's gonna say, whose is it? Duh. You're honestly speaking. When we slept together, what do you think we're doing? We're messing around. We're eating sweets. Duh. How dare you say, and I've had a lot of men that would say, no, that's not mine. No, because she was sleeping with someone else. Oh, wow. Did you see them? Did you see her sleep with the other person? Did you catch them in bed with the other person? It's because, especially in this day and age with black men, we've made it so fashionable to have baby mamas.
Hey.
That's where it starts. I've got baby mama number 1, I've got baby mama number 2, I've got baby mama number 3. That makes me a man.
Is that a
And
thing?
that's a thing.
What?
That is a thing. To a certain degree whereby men will sit in the same room and say, I've got 3 girls pregnant at the same time.
Oh, wow.
A mate of mine called me and is like, bro, I don't know what to do. I was dating this girl and I knew the girl because he introduced me to the girl. Hey, how are you? So we already have a relationship with the girl. Then he says, bruh, I made a mess. I got a girl pregnant. So I'm like, oh, she's pregnant. It's like, no, not that one.
Oh wow.
The other one. I'm like, yo, bro. So what now? Because this is me going, okay, how? In what world? So she's pregnant, the other one miscarried. So there's two. One is pregnant, one is miscarried, one is in a relationship. You already have two baby mamas. There's another baby mama or two baby mamas somewhere. So he's got 4 kids and the one is lost. So I'm like, how then do you expect a society where we're going to be wealthy enough to leave a legacy for our children if you are everywhere?
Yes.
That's always been my question. And sometimes people feel like I'm being harsh, but gents, we have made it a norm that it's okay to have a baby mama. That's where it starts.
But would you say then that men are weak? Like
Yes.
they are weak people?
Yes.
And how do you rectify that?
Start from scratch now. You don't beat a woman. You don't sleep with a woman. Simple. There is nothing fun. Yes, they say orgasm is amazing, gents. When you release, you feel. But honestly speaking, there is more to it than just the actual act.
Yeah.
The amount of spirituality that
Oh,
you're connecting to.
my man.
You know what? I did a teaching, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, no.
Yeah.
I did a teaching on angels and angel beings and what an angel is. An angel is not a cupid that has got a love and
No,
an
for
arrow.
sure,
You
yeah.
understand? I said to the kid that I was teaching, and I'm like, this is how an angel looks like according to Revelation. There's an angel that has got 4 eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
Now picture 4 eyes.
Yeah.
You meet something with 4 eyes and 7 wings. That's what an angel is. So until you understand that when you say, oh, you're my angel. No. When he says you are my angel, is he saying you are that being? And the moment you understand that those things, just because you don't see them, it doesn't mean that they are not there. And when you're sleeping with the person and you're exchanging, there's so much spirituality that is happening. Right now, as we're sitting here, maybe there's some demon that wants to stab you and God is protecting in the spirit. If we could just open our eyes to what's happening in the spirit before we make any decisions, as gents, as women, as human beings,
So true.
we will never fall into these traps.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, yes, I have orgasmed, but what exactly has happened that I did not see?
Sure.
This is amazing, great, but the one that I'm not seeing, is it as amazing as this? If we can just adopt that as human beings, I don't think we'll be the same again.
No.
I don't think so.
No, I won't lie. I know in seasons of like where celibacy took place, or where I was like very intentional about not engaging, I can definitely say I was more alert, and I was able to operate more within the spirit. I would have, but where sex clouds,
does.
clouds your judgment,
It
it clouds
does.
like you.
That's why the moment that 13, 14, 15-year-old starts engaging in sex, all of a sudden, even listening to mom is dumb.
Right.
You don't know, man, mom.
Sure.
Exactly. Because a lot of times I've heard of 15-year-olds that start comparing themselves to their mom. We are both orgasming.
Oh wow.
You get it? From that standpoint, like, you are sleeping with your husband, I'm sleeping with my boyfriend, so we're the same. We are both women. But it's not worth it. What is happening in the background that you don't see?
But we need to teach them from a young age. We need more voices.
Exactly.
Like
That's
this.
why with my son, I always say, there was a time that he came to me and he says, Dad, this girl was taking our Legos. So I wanted to smack her face. And right there, and then I'm like, you don't beat
You
a
don't
woman.
do that, yeah. No.
You don't. No, but she was taking my Lego. I don't care.
Yeah.
There is no excuse for violence. You do not beat a woman.
Yes.
Simple.
That's good.
That's it. So we have to start from scratch. We have to start when they are little.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, especially you guys that are mothers, we tend to run away from the real issues.
Yeah.
Because when I was a youth pastor, I used to say, I know you are having sex. I know you're doing it. Maybe some of you are leaving your boyfriend's houses to come to a church service. I know you're doing it.
Yeah.
But in you doing it, just know the implications of
Yeah.
it. And a lot of times as parents, we don't want to speak about these things. When we grow up, you would never tell your mom that I've got feelings for that girl because she'll smack the hell out of you. we were scared of talking about such. And social media, there's so much influence. I think porn is just freely available to
It's free.
anyone. There is no such thing as, no, it's under 10, so you'll never find it. A 10-year-old can find porn. So we have to start this conversation.
I was about to say it's the content as well that they're exposed to. Even music. It can go as far as music. I'm very intentional about that with my son. Like, I like that he still watches the young kids content and stuff like that. And even with music, he doesn't listen to music. And it's me being like, this is me trying my best because I don't know much. I wish he had his dad who'd guide him even further with like manly things and stuff like that. But I think content plays a big role. The things we would listen to, I mean, I remember the things I'd listen to at that age. And I believe they contributed to a lot of the to the lifestyle that I was living, you know? We don't see that, but it's very interesting.
That conversation of sex with our kids just reminded me of okay, my teenager, my son, he's my oldest. I know he's dating now. He's 16 years old. He's dating. And being a single mother, it was very difficult. So I sourced out people and I'm like, guys, can you help me? Just to talk to him. So one of the people that I sourced out was just like to me, you know what? We're not living like how we used to live back then, where you are scared to talk to your mom or your dad about sex. But because of the life that we're living now, and with social media and TV and he's on WhatsApp, he's on Instagram, he's on Facebook. So probably he knows this thing, but I think he would appreciate it more if it comes from you. So I had to have that tough conversation with my son.
And we need to give reasons why not to.
Yes, because I had to show him. I had to highlight how I'm living. I couldn't go any further, but I had to put myself as an example. And I'm like, look at the situation. I had you when I was young, and your dad owned up to this. Do you want to do that? He had to start working and do all those things. Are those things that you want right now? I would appreciate it if maybe you waited. I always quote to them, there's a time for everything. So your time will come whereby you will get married. You have to graduate, do something with your life. Do you understand? And then at the right time, everything will happen. It's not like I don't want you to do it, but I even went as far as telling somebody, say this is wrong, but then I went as far as telling my daughter that, you know what, sex it's enjoyable. You enjoy it when you get into it, but it needs to be at the right time, at the right time, and
right
at the right
context.
You understand? So that was the advice that I got. Don't hide. Don't sugarcoat anything. Tell them as it is, because it's all over. It is. They know it.
Yeah.
They know it's there. And then the worst thing is that curiosity is going to get to them, and then they're going to want to try it. And then boom, there's the mistakes.
I think the narrative needs to change from don't have sex before marriage.
Yes.
Why? Tell me why. Like, once we explain and show reasons, and I know of kids who are like, they still virgins or they're keeping away from that because they were told reasons why. It was unpacked for them, and it's like, I don't want to experience that. You know?
I think like you're saying, the why. Our parents used to get angry when we asked why. And this generation is a generation of why.
They ask too many
questions.
questions.
Don't go outside, why? Don't do this, why? And if as a parent you're scared of answering the why, they're gonna fall into that trap.
True.
And like you're saying with cartoons, my son was watching some cartoon thingy, so I'm just listening. Then he says, no, I dated this boy, and afterwards wanted to sleep with me. I'm like, cheapers, this is a cartoon animation that is speaking about sex, so it's freely there. The only thing that we can do is to jump on. And I know that you are dating. I know that you're going to be prompted. You're going to be in the same room together. And I know that you're going to try and experience that, but it's not worth it.
When's the right age, if you don't mind me asking?
Because
I know he's 10 now, and the chat is coming soon. So when
I started the chat with my son.
Okay,
he's 9.
But it should be a dad.
I think son and dad is easier, or mom and daughter. I think.
Yes.
It's a tough one. Because that's why we say, because us men, we haven't taken our rightful stance, or where we need to be in society, or how the Bible has taken it to be. Now we are forcing a woman to have a discussion with a man. It's impossible.
No, I can't.
As a mom, how do you say sex is amazing and you're like, yo?
Yeah, exactly.
Where do I start? Where do I begin?
Sure.
So, gents, we need to take responsibility and be there for our children and speak about it. Don't expect the mom to speak to your son. Mom should speak to the daughter. Dad should speak to the son.
100%.
It's easier. It's easier for me to say, you know what, boy? I know that you look at the woman's bum and you're going, ooh, she's got a nice nyash. You understand? And to him, it's like, yo, Dad, did you just say that? It's okay. Because you are a man, you are going to be attracted to a woman. The reason why we fall in love, Poloko said the last time that he was here, I asked him a question, have you ever gone for a girl because of her looks? Then she's like, there is no way I can go to a woman in the mall and say, I like your character, I'm attracted to you. No. It's either your face, your smile, your eyes, your body, whatever. Then from there, develops into the character of the person. So you are going to see, as a man, we sin by seeing. Even the Bible says so. So you are going to see certain things, but it's up to you now to have the self-discipline to say, do I or do I not? Same thing with a girl.
Yeah.
You are going to see a guy and you go, ooh, yeah, that's a hunk. But is it really worth it to go the other mile?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Indeed. No thanks.
Yeah. Anyway, before I let you go, a wise woman once said.
You know my saying. Another one.
Don't give me chase purpose. Give me another.
Another one.
That was powerful though. She said chase purpose, and you never work a day in your life.
Boom.
Powerful.
No, I said chase purpose, money will follow.
Money will follow.
I am stealing.
Yeah, no, please take it. And always quote Ole.
Yes.
She who speaks said it.
Definitely.
That is my saying.
Yeah.
So this one, I think I'm still getting the revelation on, but it's something I spoke with my psychologist on. That nothing and no one belongs to you on this earth. Everything is God's.
Yo. Nothing and no one belongs to you.
Because the thing is, you get so attached to someone or something, and when it's taken away from you, whatever, that's where you just lose yourself, and you're like, but why? And that helped me to learn to stop trying to have control over situations and people, because I have that controlling side, like I just do this, and it was like nothing belongs. It's God's. He gives and He takes.
Ghost lady.
Oh wow.
How do you come back from that?
Yo. I cannot, because wow. Wow. It took me back to a season that I went through, and what you just said, like, this I needed to hear, because like God needed to remind me that remember, I isolated you so that you can be alone, so that you can see that it is only I that you need, not anybody else. So wow, we're living with her wise words.
Wow, absolutely amazing. Like I always say, that we never plan what to speak about, but the one thing for sure is everything that is spoken becomes God's. The mere fact that we are saying we're not doing what we do. I'm not doing this podcast because I've got a great voice, or I've got the best equipment, whatever the case may be, but because God is using us. And as you guys come through as well, whatever that comes out of your mouth, it's not something that you wrote it down like, okay, so tonight on the podcast, I'm going to say 1, 2, and 3.
Sure.
It's just coming.
Yeah.
And as it is coming, that's how we learn. That's how the person learns. That's how I learn as well. And that just shows me the kind of people that I've got in my circle. And it humbles me. So thank you, Ole.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ghosty. You are amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is amazing. It's very therapeutic for me as well, this platform.
Wow.
I think that's why it wasn't hard to be like, no.
So you're coming back?
Look, if you need me...
Ole.
I mean, we have this.
Ole.
I think you
answer
and I
the
are gonna be. I think we're gonna be podcast mates.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
I think
can't
we're gonna
wait.
have that. Yeah.
I can't wait. Tell us more about. Is the right
I'll
time
talk
to talk
about
about it?
No,
Not yet.
no.
Awesome
The right
stuff.
time will come.
It
I'll
will
definitely.
come.
Yeah.
It will come. Awesome. So I can't wait. Thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're a busy woman. But
No, now I'm free. I told you my project's done, so it's back to brainstorming and
yeah. Awesome stuff. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you're still here, thank you for staying tuned or staying with us. And my name is Tatenda. Like I said, Ole was here, Tine was here, and all the wisdom that was shared was for it to make you a better person spiritually, mentally, and physically. From us to you, we love you, and I always leave you with 3 things. Stay safe, keep believing, and God loves you. Cheers for now.